Hello adventurers, it is I, Solus Venture, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And for today's topic, I am going to be covering a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a really long time, but I just haven't had the space to just compile all my thoughts together. And so finally today I was able to, and the topic that I want to cover is simply money and how to save money as a solo tabletop RPG player. I am sure if you have been in this hobby for many years, you know how expensive things are becoming. A lot of like core rule books and player handbooks, a lot of them are becoming like $50 to $70 per book. And so there's I just personally feel like money can be such a blocker for some people who really want to get into solo tabletop RPGs. And so I really hope that these 6 things I'm going to be talking about helps kind of spark some creativity. If you are new and you're wanting to get into solo tabletop RPGs, and if you've been around in this hobby for years, I hope at least this can be relatable. So I guess we will get started. This is a topic that I've covered with a couple friends too who are in this space of solo tabletop RPGs, and so I also really hope that this helps them as well. So the first point that I want to make is to use and enjoy what you already have. I know we can get easily caught up in just the fancy new things, like fancy new dice or really cool minis. I personally am quite content with my dice set here. I haven't really gotten new ones, honestly, unless if they were uh, either part of a game that I got or a giveaway. I don't really need that much, and so I'm really content with where I'm at with my dice set collection. And for leather journals, I'm trying to learn how to make my own. When I have the means to, I also try to support local artists who are into leather working and they make leather journals. Minis, I would love to have a really cool collection of minis, but one, I do not have storage, and two, I do not have the patience or the talent to just dedicate time and effort into painting. I just personally find that hobby tedious for me, but I have so much respect for people who do that. So go you if you love to paint minis. So the first point I just want to make is to use and enjoy what you already have and try to not fall for that trap of, oh, I need new this, new that. You know what, just pause and just look at the stuff that you already have, and enjoy what you have. So that's point one. Point two is to take advantage of free, that's right, free or pay what you want games. There are a ton of games on itch.io and DriveThruRPG. A lot of designers understand how expensive tabletop RPGs can be, and so a lot of them also offer community copies as well. So make sure that you are saying a huge thank you to designers who do that. There are a lot out there who offer community copies or just do that pay what you want. And so, yeah, there is just a ton on both of those sites. All you got to do is just search and find what looks fun and intriguing for you. And number 3, you can wait. You just don't want to. I know for me, I know there are a ton of Kickstarter projects out there that just look so cool to play. And yes, I wish I could support every single designer, but it is just not realistic. And so do not fall for that trap where you feel like you have to back every single Kickstarter that you want because you have this FOMO or fear of missing out. And so my advice to you is to just wait for more maybe reviews, for more playtesting. Wait till it hits retail, or you can even wait for deals and bundles as well. I think when it comes to Kickstarters, it's definitely hard. definitely hard. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do Kickstarters. Obviously, if you really love the project and you really believe in that designer, the company, then yes, like go for it if you definitely have the financial means to. And so, yeah, I think just practicing like patience is important, and just knowing that sure you might miss out on this Kickstarter project if you don't back it, but there are plenty more that are in the making as well. So, like, you will not miss out because there are just so many other great designers who come out with really cool games, and there's always going to be something new. That's really it. Number 4, this one can be very hard. I totally relate, but stick to a budget. And you can also turn that into a challenge. I read online that the average gamer meaning like video gamers, board gamers, tabletop RPG gamers, etc. Gamer hobbyists spend $76 to $96 a month, and over the year that can go up to, I think the stats was like around what, $1,500 or something a year. But anyways, this hobby can be expensive, but also it's really fun. And so you want to make sure that you are buying what you need to spark that fun, spark that creativity and inspiration. And so sometimes what you already have in your collection is already like good, um, for what you want to accomplish in your hobby. And so I know for me, I love doing a no new games monthly like challenge. And so I feel like this is probably my second month or so into this no new games challenge. I don't count like copy reviews that are given to me from like publishers and designers, because they are expecting like an honest review from me. So I personally don't count that, but just new games that I want to buy like for myself. I try to do like every like couple months or so a no new games challenge, and it's cool because when I share that challenge like on my socials, it also encourages other people to try that as well, and it reminds them to enjoy what they have in their collection. For me, when it comes to specifically board games, for my board game limit, I am limiting myself to 50 games in my collection. And so I tell myself if there is a new game that I want, I always try to review what I already have, and then I also like sell or give away ones that just don't like click for me anymore. And so yeah, doing a no new games challenge is a lot of fun, and it's also cool to just see the community to get involved and see what games they play. Another challenge that I'm also doing this year is a 10 by 5 challenge. So, meaning I pick 10 games out of my collection and I play them 5 times over the year. That's another great way to do it. This is more for like board games in general. For tabletop RPGs, you can totally do that too as well. I'm pretty much set with the tabletop RPGs that I've gotten over the year, and so I don't really feel like I have a need to like try a new one. But anyways, yeah, these challenges can be applied to like any hobby really. So yeah, that's like one way to, I guess, hold yourself accountable to like sticking to a budget. So yeah, so that's point 4, sticking to a budget and turning it into a challenge. And then for the 5th one, focus on replayable games and sticking to just a couple of systems. So for a lot of games, I love looking out for replayability because that means that it's more likely for me to keep playing them. And so for board games, like in general, I don't know what it is, but I have such a hard time trying to get into like campaign board games, because I feel like once I'm done with a campaign, I just get like bored. And so I really try to look for games that, if it is a campaign based game, I try to look for ways that it can still be replayable. Like maybe there's a way to set it up where it can just be like a one-shot adventure kind of a thing. Maybe there are variants online that I can like try and play. And so, yeah, replayability is like huge for me. Hence why I try to keep my collection just to like 50, because I really just want to have a good collection of games that I know that I just love playing. And then now kind of switching over to like the RPG like systems. I like to just stick to a couple systems. So when I started out, D&D 5e was just the main thing that I just got into because it's like the most popular, very accessible. Everyone like plays it for the most part. And so I stuck with D&D 5e until I really felt like I was able to understand it pretty well. And then after that, that was kind of when I wanted to branch out more outside of D&D 5e and get into like old school, and like Cairn, for example. And so I try to just stick with a couple of systems that I know work for me and how like my brain works and how my creativity like flows. And so I think a really good tip is to visit sites and get involved on like forums, so then you can really see how the system works. There are a ton of YouTube videos that cover so many different types of tabletop RPG systems. And so I think it's really important to not get overwhelmed with collecting a bunch of like systems, because then like how likely will you play them if you are really more comfortable playing one versus a different one, etc. And so I feel like if you are like starting out as a newbie in the solo tabletop RPG space, I definitely say to like stick to like one or two systems and really learn how those systems work for you. So that's my tip. So that is number 5. And then lastly, number 6, it is my favorite, but get crafty and make your own stuff. Like if there are random tables that you are trying to look for and nothing online or in your collection is something that you aren't looking for, instead of shopping around, you can totally just make your own random tables. And for like maps and tokens and minis, etc., you can just make your own stuff. So when it comes to solo tabletop RPGs, you can just simplify your experience and it'll be still very immersive. You don't need all the fancy stuff to make it a fun experience for yourself. So, for example, for me, I am kind of working on a board game for myself for fun. And so I have this box. I got it from Michael's and it was so cheap. There was a sale going on, and it's just like a photo album box, and it fits perfectly all the stuff that I have for the board game. And so basically, removing all of this and these 3 tokens, this is like the entire like board game. So I have like dice here. And then I have cards that I have made. Here are some like booklets that I made for the game. Underneath here is like kind of a map that I drew. And then here are just tokens that I created for characters and their classes. So like here's like a magic user, for example. Here is a thief. Here is a cleric. And then here's a fighter. And so yeah, these are just really cheap like wooden tokens, and I just like drew on them. Then here is like a day and night like token for me to track where the time of the day. And so yeah, so you can just get so creative with your stuff, and you don't need to make it all fancy. Like this one I also got on sale. These are actually like trading card sized like watercoloring cards, I guess. And so I just drew on them, and then I just had extra sleeves around in my collection. I decided to use it for these. And then yeah, then I just have these like little booklets. These are from like old watercolor like pages, and I just staple them together to make these like booklets for the game. So yeah, getting crafty also just kind of adds to the experience for myself. Like personally, I am making my own little like random tables like booklet here. And so yeah, just because I feel like there are some tables that I'm not really a fan of, and so I thought, why not? I can just like make my own using this like notebook. Oh, here, I love these little guys. I just drew some like tokens using pen, and then these like cheap wooden tokens here. And then I love doing this, but I love going to secondhand, like vintage shops or like markets or something, and they have like really cheap things. Like I found this really cool mini from, I think this is like an old Mage Knight mini or something. I don't know. It was in like a box and it said Mage Knight minis, but I don't know. I personally have never seen this before. And then these ones are from like an old like board game pieces. These can like represent like cities or something on a map. So yeah, it's just so fun to just like get creative and just like see what you already have like lying around in your house or something, or in your apartment, or just reusing it. Maybe there's like an old board game that you're not a fan of anymore, and you can just reuse some of those like pieces. Yeah, so like for me, here's one for an example. Like these are some old board game pieces. I got this from like the publisher because they asked me to like do a review. But I personally wasn't a big fan of like the game. But so I decided to just use some of the tokens here, and probably I could use this for like my own tabletop RPG sessions or something. And so yeah, it's all about just trying to find ways to get creative and just kind of use what you already have in your collection. And so yeah, I hope that helps. I know money can be such a blocker for this type of hobby, and it's sad. It is really really sad. I also know sometimes even folks who are international, they have like a hard time trying to find copies of like different tabletop RPGs. And so I feel for you, but I also know that there are a lot of like resources like online. There are different ways that you can do to just save money. And so I get it. This hobby can just be so expensive sometimes, but I really hope that you take the time to just pause, enjoy what you have, and just get creative. And also, lastly, join communities. There is a lovely community on Instagram, here on YouTube, even on Reddit. There's like a subreddit that I like to check from time to time. I think it's just called solo underscore role playing, I think. But everyone in that subreddit, they always have like really cool ideas to, I don't know, like tweak solo variant rules for different systems. Even get creative with just making your solo tabletop RPG experience just fun and immersive. And again, you don't need anything like super fancy to have fun. It's really just getting creative and just using your imagination. That's really really it. Theater of the mind. That was definitely how I started out when I was first learning D&D 5e, and yeah, all the scenes that I came up with in my mind, still very like visual and fresh in my head today, and it's fun. It's really fun way to just get creative. So anyways, I hope these 6 tips help. And again, I understand how expensive this hobby is, but you do not need all the fancy things to have fun and get started on solo tabletop RPG sessions. And so if you are new, go online. There are a ton of resources online. And again, just start simple. Start with just a pencil and a paper and just let your creativity flow. So anyways, I hope these tips help, and I hope that this is a conversation that we can talk about more here on YouTube or on social on other social platforms, it is definitely a topic that needs to be talked about more. So thank you again, adventurers. Till next time.